to the May version of the CoverageBook webinar. I am pleased to say I have David back for this one. Welcome back, David.
Thank you, Laura.
So for those of you who are, actually I'll start with what we're covering first. So today we are covering all the things you can add to CoverageBook. I've had lots of conversations with customers recently, and it occurred to me that lots of people didn't realise all the different platforms you can add. So today we are going to run through the different platforms you can add to them, to CoverageBook, and what type of how to add it in a way that's going to make your metrics the most accurate. So with that in mind, I'd love to hear in the chat who you are and where you're from, and also sort of where you get the most amount of coverage, so we can make sure that we include relevant, useful information. And as you're all coming in, I'll just do a few intros again for anyone who hasn't met us before. I'm Laura, and I head up the customer success here at CoverageBook, and David here heads up support. Hi, Sue from Savannah. And the format of these sessions tends to go, I'll hand over to David in a minute and he'll do the main demo. And feel free to chat as much as you want in the chat. There's no wheel on keyboards today, I'm afraid, but I'll be there to answer any questions that I can, or I might save some to send to David to do a bit of a demo at the end. And we'll also be sending an email following this with a recording of the coverage. We have the coverage of the webinar. So, oh, lots of you coming in saying hi. Thank you very much. It's always lovely when you say hi in the chat. So yeah, and apologies to anyone who's used to having us on a Tuesday. We're here on a Monday, but if you are regulars to our webinars, you'll be glad to know that Willow is making an appearance again. So if you know David's dog, he's coming back. So yes, I think I shall hand over to you, David. I think I've covered everything on the intro.
Yeah. Thank you. I'm getting a bit of an echo. Where's that coming from?
You sound fine here.
Yeah. Okay, cool. All right. Yeah, thanks, Laura. Hi, everyone. Thanks for joining us today. I am going to try and run through everything in around 30 minutes or less. I'll try and keep it short as possible. Let me just share my screen so you can see that first. Great. So hopefully you're now looking at my screen. What we're going to do today is, as Laura said, we're going to look at all of the things about the types of platforms that we support, what kind of data you can expect. We'll do a little bit of troubleshooting as well for some common things that we see that might hinder some of that data collection that you get when you're importing coverage. And then at the end, we'll look at what you can do when you bring all of that coverage together inside your account. So there's quite a lot to get through, so I'm just going to dive straight in. One of the things that we've done recently is we've updated some of the content on our website. And one of the pages that we've added, and I'm going to use that in this demo, is the Coverage We Support page. So if you head to coveragebook.com and go to how it works, if you click on what coverage can I add, this will give you a really good base overview of all of the different platforms and types of coverage that we currently support. We will hopefully add to this in the future as well. If we scroll down this page, we have included all of the different platforms in this kind of like clickable carousel. And we've also given information on what types of data you can expect to come back. And I'm just going to touch on all of these quickly before we move on to looking at my CoverageBook account. So first of all, if you mostly get digital coverage, so if you're getting online website articles and social media URLs, we are going to work brilliantly for you because we're going to save you so much time. One of the biggest time savings in using CoverageBook is having us collate all of the data and information for you as you're importing URL-based coverage. And the first type of coverage that we support is online website articles. So if you upload a URL to a website, we will collect some default data and an image. So what you can expect to see is a full screen image of the coverage page. We normally show the masthead and the first part of the screenshot, but if you click into it in your report, you can open up the full length image. There are some other things that you can do as well. You can crop the image. You can also choose to reposition the focus area to a different part of that article to pick out a mention or a product or something like that. So that's the first thing that you'll see. And then above the coverage itself in this grey area, this is where we collect information about the outlet or publication itself. So you'll see things like a logo, an outlet name and a description, and then the two kind of outlet metrics that we collect for website articles are domain authority from moz.com and unique monthly visits from SimilarWeb. If you do tend to add coverage from the same publications over time, these numbers will update to the latest numbers we have available as you add coverage in future. So you can also go back and see how your outlet metrics have performed over time. And then down on the right hand side, this is all of the information about the clip itself. So we will try to pull as much data as possible. So you'll see things like a date, the type of coverage or the platform. You'll see a title and also the link to the original content so that you can go to the website to view it. And then underneath that is where you will see the clip level metrics. And CoverageBook provides up to 3 different default metrics for this. And I'm going to start from the bottom and work my way up. So the first is backlinks. If your clients or you are interested in seeing how many times your client's website or product link has featured in a particular web page, you can actually search for up to 5 domains per book, and we will pull all of those backlinks from the HTML of the page back out for you, and we'll report on that. So you will also see social engagement. So this will be the number of times that your coverage URL has been shared on X, Pinterest, and Facebook. And then finally, the last metric, and probably the most important one actually, is estimated views. And this is CoverageBook's own algorithm where we predict how many people we think are likely to have viewed this specific page of coverage on the site. We have lots of customers that use this metric. They trust it. It's really consistent so that you can benchmark and measure coverage over time as well. And there are lots of other things that you can do, like generate cost per 1,000 impressions, metrics and other things from it. I won't go into too much detail about it, but yeah, it's a really great way of focusing on article level engagement and views alone, rather than looking at kind of the bigger numbers for the wider website. Underneath these metrics as well, you can add your own custom metrics. You can add as many of those as you like, and you can also do things like pull out short comments as well. Now, we currently support in one form or another 7 different social media platforms, and I'm just going to quickly run through those. If you upload something like a YouTube URL, you'll start to see that we pull through platform-specific metrics. So you will see a playable embed of the video. Your report readers can click on this and they can play the video directly inside the report, which is really nice. And we'll also do things like collect subscribers, actual video views, and also engagement. So things like likes, comments, and shares. You'll see the same thing for things like TikTok and X as well. So if you upload a TikTok post or an X post, we will collect followers. We'll also collect views and engagements that are specific to that particular platform. There are some occasions where we might not be able to collect actual views or plays. And when this happens, like with Instagram, we will use CoverageBook's estimated views for social media. And very, very similar to how we estimate views for online articles, we will predict how many of an account's followers we think are likely to have viewed the specific post through its lifetime on the account. So it's a really good way, again, of tracking individual views and engagements. Now, the last 4 social platforms are Spotify, Twitch, Facebook, and LinkedIn. If you do get coverage on Spotify, it's always best to use the playlist URL because that's where we can collect the most data. So you'll see things like followers and engagements, which will be likes of this particular playlist. If you do get any Twitch coverage, if you upload a stream URL or a clip URL, we'll also collect followers, views and engagements for that platform. Now I've kind of left Facebook and LinkedIn last, and that's because these are two platforms where we can currently just collect limited amounts of data. So for something like Facebook, if you upload a post URL, we can normally get an image of the post into your account. We will try to collect as much information as we can about that particular post and the account as well. And we'll also collect how many times it's been shared on other social platforms like Pinterest and X. But for now, you may need to do things like add in the follow accounts or any other kind of engagements manually, either as custom metrics, or when you're viewing the Facebook post, you'll have a little audience placeholder here. If you click on that, you can add the audience for the Facebook account. And then finally, LinkedIn. It's probably the most popular platform that we get asked about supporting. Unfortunately, LinkedIn took away the public access to their data API some time ago. So what will normally happen here is that we can get a nice image of the post, and we'll collect some basic information about the outlet where we can, like the date and things like that. With this particular type of coverage, you can also add your own metrics in manually. This is probably a really good time to mention that one of the longer term projects that we're currently working on is to provide better default templating and presentation for the platforms that we currently support, but also thinking about new platforms that we might support in the future. So it should be much easier for you to quickly add in relevant metrics when these updates come. We will keep you posted as to when they're likely to happen. So yeah, keep an eye out for that. Now, in terms of non-URL based coverage, it's also possible to upload print clipping images and media files as MP3s and MP4s. Something like a print clip, if you upload a PDF or a JPEG or a PNG, we will import the image into your account. And then what you can do is that you can actually create the publisher's outlet information at the top here, like we've done for Vibrant Living. You can give it a circulation number and then add in any other custom metrics that you want to report on, and we'll remember all of that data for the next time that you upload coverage, so it's much, much quicker. One of the updates that we've made this year is that we no longer count image file uploads towards your monthly or annual usage quota, primarily because we don't currently automatically collect things like circulation or outlet data for these publications. So it's a little bit more of a manual process. So yeah, they'll be completely free of charge for you to upload and use. Now, that's given you a quick overview of the types of platforms that we support and the kind of data that you can expect to see come back through. What I'm going to do now is switch over to my CoverageBook account, and we're going to have a look at some examples of how to correctly add content to get the best metrics and the best results. The first thing that I would always recommend is to upload the original and direct URL to the social media post or to the website. One of the common things that we see is that people might try to upload like a media monitoring link or something like a Google Drive link. What that does is our systems will try and go to that domain to try and figure out what the data is that we need to collect. So it doesn't always work very well. And especially in the case of something like Google Drive, we might be able to access an image of the file that you have saved there, but we're likely to try and pull back metrics about drive.google.com, which won't be relevant. So it's always best to upload the original content where possible. If you're looking at something like an Instagram post, and hey, there's my dog and cat, Willow and Bob. If you're looking at getting the post from a social media account, you can either just copy the direct link to the post from the address bar, or if you click on the three dots next to the post, you can use the copy link option. Most social platforms like TikTok, Facebook, and others will have this as an option, and I know that X does as well. So yeah, you can always make sure that you copy the original link. In terms of adding the content to a report, it's really quick and easy to do for URLs as well. I'm just going to quickly dive into a book. And if you hit the green plus add button in the top left-hand corner and go to add coverage links, this is where you can copy and paste all of the links that you want to add. If you do have like a tracker spreadsheet or something like that, you can copy and paste up to 1,000 URLs at a time. So you can have all of those included in your report. It's really quick and easy to do. Once you've got your links pasted in here, just hit next and import, and we'll go and collect those data and images for you. If you don't tend to keep a list of coverage in something like a tracker spreadsheet, and you search for your coverage links manually via Google, then we actually have made a CoverageBook Chrome toolbar extension called Clipper. If you visit coveragebook.com/tools, or if you click on the help and resources drop down on our website and go to the free tools we've made area, we've actually built a page that has all of the cool, smaller kind of independent free things that we've been working on as projects. And we've launched them all here, and there's some really good tools here actually. So the Clipper toolbar will allow you to bookmark URLs as you're searching in Google. It will save them until needed, and then you can copy them all to a clipboard and get those into your report. So I would recommend downloading that. We also have some other cool things like a link extractor that will pull all of the links out of a page for you, and also like coverage impact. This is where you can create visualizations of your coverage using CSVs of data. It's really cool. I would check it out. So that's how you can add all of your online URLs. If you do have any other types of coverage, such as print clipping images or broadcast or radio files, you can use the upload coverage files option to add them. You can add up to 50 files at once, and they can be up to 250 megabytes per file. One of the things that we often see is that customers ask, how can I import Instagram stories to CoverageBook? And it's a really good question, because that's probably one of the types of social post that isn't really possible for us or any other tools that I know of to collect automatically and to bring all of those metrics through for them, because Instagram just don't format them in a way that that's possible to do. So there's a couple of ways that you can do that. What I would recommend is you can either just grab a still image of the post as a PNG or JPEG, so just take a screenshot of it. You can also download an MP4 of the story. There are some free resources on the web that will help you do this. Storysaver.net is one website that allows you to capture MP4s of Instagram stories, and there are bound to be lots of other tools out there that will help you do this. And that's what we're going to do next. So this process is also exactly the same as if you're uploading a regular print clipping or broadcast file or whatever. What we do is we just click on the upload files area. We're going to go and choose my file, which is a short story that I made of making bread. So there we go. I'm going to get that imported into my report next to Willow. So what you'll see is that when you import something like a file, it gives you like this blank template. So it's not saved to a publisher or influencer outlet or anything like that. And then what you can do is just click on the add outlet details area above. And if you are an existing customer with us, it's always worth searching to see whether or not you've added any other content from this publisher or social influencer, because it might well be that you've already got their Instagram profile saved in your CoverageBook account. So if I search for myself, I can find myself there. Yeah, I've already added some content from my Instagram account, so I can just click on next. It will give you a quick preview of what metrics and what profile is going to be added to this clip. And then I can just hit save. And then what you'll see is it will basically just pull through that existing outlet profile for Instagram that I already have in my account. So that's probably the quickest and easiest way that you can add an Instagram story. Just make sure that you've already uploaded a regular post from their Instagram, and you can just add that story to their existing profile. It's really easy to do. If for any reason you don't have a profile saved, and this could be for anything like a print outlet or for a broadcast outlet or whatever, if you search for the outlet and you can't find it, click on the link to create a new outlet. And then from here, you'll be able to put in a logo. You can select the type of media that it is. So we're going to choose Instagram in this case. You can give it an outlet name and a description. And then depending on which type of coverage you choose, we will give you a blank placeholder to put in things like followers, subscribers, listeners, etc. So you can just enter in the followers for the Instagram account there and hit save. We will then remember that profile and you can just search for it and use it in future as well. So hopefully that will be a quicker way for you to add things like files, images, Instagram stories, and also any other kind of content that isn't URL based. Now, the other thing that I mentioned was that, or the other thing to mention, in fact, is that sometimes when you upload a social media post, you might see a message that says something like this video content is unavailable, or this content has been removed, or something like that. And it might well be that there's a restriction in place on that particular post. One of the ways to check it is if you go to the post itself when you're logged into the social platform. If you click on the three dots in the top right hand corner of the post, if you see that there's no option to embed, the likelihood is that the influencer or account has removed the option to embed their content into a third-party platform like CoverageBook. Unfortunately, we won't be able to get an image when that happens, but that will explain hopefully why that happens sometimes. You might also see this if you have clients that are perhaps an alcohol brand or something that has like an age restriction to it. What will normally happen is that Instagram and other social accounts will restrict that content from being viewable to non-logged in users. So it quite often means that you'll see that this content is unavailable message. If you do have permission to share that particular image for your client, what you can do is just grab a screenshot of it, head into your book. Imagine, if you will, that there's no screenshot here. What you can do is just click on the Add Edit Media area here, and you can just add your image manually. And you also have the option of hiding any of our default images if you don't want those to show in the report as well. So you still can add your own images manually, and you can do that for any type of coverage that you like as well. Now, this is more of an additional mention, actually, that we quite often hear from customers that they create two different versions of their reports. So they may well create like a CoverageBook report that has all of their coverage in it, like this one here. But they may also create a separate report that has like PowerPoint slides or a deck. If you would like to keep all of your content in the one place, you could consider using our third importing option, which is adding slides and analysis. And what this allows you to do is you can actually upload all of your PowerPoint or Google Slides as full page images to your CoverageBook report. You can even create a slide using our builder. This is a really great way of bringing not only your coverage, but all of your content together into the one place so that it is all accessible in that share link for you. So I would recommend playing around with that. It definitely adds a lot of context and extra information to your reports, and also might save you a bunch of time as well. Now, one of the benefits of adding coverage in this way is that I really would recommend you to add as much content as possible to CoverageBook. One of the things that we do really, really well is that we help you to handpick and curate all of your coverage that you want to report on in one kind of centralized view that all of your team can access. It really helps you to kind of get like a trusted source of data where you're using consistent metrics from the same data sources, and everything has been chosen by you. One of the reasons why we don't do media monitoring is that, apart from the fact there are lots of other tools out there that do that, is that we prefer to kind of be like the clean source of that data. So I know that sometimes media monitoring might pull through non-relevant or less relevant content for you in search results and things like that. So if you are taking the time to sense check your data and you're just importing all of your clean stuff, then CoverageBook will definitely work well as your source of truth for that. And speaking of which, if you haven't visited it before, the Coverage Vault in the top left-hand corner, there's a link in your main navigation bar. This is where you can see a list of all of the coverage that's ever been added to your account since you've been a customer. It's a really, really powerful tool. There's lots that you can do here, and it kind of works very similar to a tracker, but just kind of enhanced, really. If you see any of the arrows up or down on the columns, if you click on any of those, it will filter your coverage by highest to lowest, so you can quickly see things like coverage with the most views or the least views, etc. And then over on the left-hand side, these are where you have all of the filtering options. So you can search for publication title or name. You can also search for media type. So this is really relevant to this particular webinar because we also have a filter where you can look at just the different platform-specific coverage that you have here. So for example, you can search for all of your Instagram coverage. You can also search for just all of your social coverage. So if you did want to do some deeper dives and analysis into how much coverage am I getting per platform, then you can definitely use that filter. You can also be more granular and filter by book and by folder as well, which is super useful. You can also view all of your media outlets as well. So if you click on the outlets tab, you can this is my Instagram, but you can even see like how many pieces of coverage you have added to all of your for all of your Instagram accounts. So it's a really, really good tool. Once you have your coverage selected as well, what you can do is if you either manually select one or two pieces or you select them all, it will open up 3 different options that you have here where you can create a new book from the selected coverage. So if you wanted to make like a social media only book or just a book with all of your Instagram to collect all of those metrics, you can do that from here. You can also add the coverage to different books. So you can do things like build summaries and other reports. If you are a silver and above customer as well, you can now generate a CSV of data directly from inside the Coverage Vault without needing to create a report first. But if you are a bronze or a bronze plus subscriber, it's no problem. You can just create a new book from your selection of coverage, and then you can access that CSV of data from the share menu of the book. So you can do it in either way. Just a quick reminder that if you do use the Coverage Vault to create things like new reports, or you're adding existing clips to different books, once you've imported your coverage to your account, it's yours to keep, it's yours to use in across any reports or as many books as you like. You can do what you like with it and it won't count towards your usage limits. So do play around and experiment with making different report versions. Now, the final thing to mention is refreshing data. So we have found that the most social shares and engagements tend to happen within the first month of when coverage goes live. So if you do tend to add your coverage as it comes, or perhaps you do it at the beginning of the month, when you're ready to share your report at the end of that month, I would recommend coming to the Overview tab. It's the top left option when you're viewing your report. If you go across to metrics and backlinks, there is a refresh data button. If you hit this, it will allow you to refresh the coverage book metrics for views and engagements to the latest numbers we have available. Sorry, this is probably a very bad example book because none of the coverage is within the last month. So if you see this and the coverage is older, you won't be able to refresh those items as a whole book. But what you can do is if you go into each individual piece of coverage, there is also the option to refresh the data here as well. You can do this for coverage no matter how old it is. So if you know that a particular article has gone a bit viral in the last few months, you can come here and refresh that data to the latest numbers we have. You can refresh once every 24 hours. And also, if you upload something like YouTube, this is the first platform that we have automated refreshing for. So if you upload a YouTube video, we will refresh the social shares, views, and engagements once a day for the first week, and then once a week for the following 3 weeks after. So you'll get a full month's worth of automated refreshing. This might be something that we roll out to more platforms in the future. But yes, if you do upload Instagram, if you do upload YouTube, we've got you covered. We'll automatically refresh it. But of course, you still can come in and refresh that data if it's over a month old as well. I think that's everything that I had to cover today. Hopefully you found that helpful. Hopefully that's gone through all of the platforms that we currently support, the metrics we collect, and everything else as well. So yeah, do we have any questions to cover, Laura?
We do. Let me know if anybody else has any more questions. Also, I'd just like to throw the field out there to you guys. Now that you've seen all the different platforms we support, in addition to LinkedIn and Facebook, are there any platforms that you'd like to see us working on or including in CoverageBook? Feel free to check them in the chat so we can pass them on to the team. While you're having to think of that, there was one question for you to demo, David.
Sure.
I thought it was better to see this. Can you show Jessica how you can share one piece of coverage?
Yeah, absolutely.
There's a really cool hidden feature.
Yeah, cool. So we've got quite a few different sharing options, actually. I'll just quickly recap on all of those. If you're inside a book, hopefully you're really familiar with this. You can share a link to the entire report. You can also grab a PDF and a CSV. One of the new features that we've launched in 2025 as well is that you can now share a branded link to all of the reports inside a folder. So you can share an entire folder of books with your clients. And this is a really good way of kind of basically giving them all access to everything all at once. But if you do want to share an individual clip, there's a couple of ways that you can do it. If you head over to the Coverage Vault, and you'll see, like, if you just search for a piece of coverage, so let's search for the PR resolution. Once you've found that particular piece of coverage, there's a share button to the right-hand side. If you click on that, it will allow you to create a shareable link just to that one piece of coverage, and it's a branded link as well, so it will remember your subdomain name. The really good thing about this is that it will open up a read-only view of that particular piece of coverage with just the metrics for it. So it's a really good way of basically just sharing one piece in a link. If you ever want to stop sharing that piece of coverage as well, you can just hit the stop sharing link and it will remove that from being visible again.
Another question came through about hiding metrics in the book, which I've just sent an FAQ
Cool.
over. Some platforms come and see Apple Music for podcasts. So, yeah, that's good. Let us know if you've got any more platforms you'd like us to support. So hopefully you've all found that useful. And we'll leave you back to the rest of your Monday, whether it's Monday afternoon or Monday morning, wherever you are. So yeah, thank you very much for joining us, and hopefully we'll see you at the next one.
Thanks, everyone. Bye.
Thank you.